You know, the Federal Reserve was created in 1913, or the Federal Reserve Act was signed into law by Woodrow Wilson in 1913. And then in 1914, I think is when it actually got up and running. And in 1914 is when the income tax was passed, also signed into law by Woodrow Wilson. And 3 years later is World War I. You know, like 3 years, or American entry into World War I. So it's like, this is the banking system and the tax system are very like interrelated with the warfare state. Like you need this stuff in order to fight wars. And, you know, even just over the, whatever, it's over the last 25 years, we've spent close to $10 trillion on wars, you know, and they didn't tax the American people for that, because they know they couldn't tax us enough to pay. We would put an end to it. If they tried to raise everybody's taxes enough to come up with $10 trillion because we want to go fight regime change wars all over the Middle East, the American people would have been like, no, we're not doing that. But they didn't do that. They kept taxes where they were. I think they even cut some rates during those years, top rates. And then they borrowed the rest, and they still couldn't borrow enough, so they just print the money. And then essentially what happens is that the price of everything just goes up and up and up. And you just put more money into the system, and then people start looking around and going like, geez, why is the price of housing and healthcare and energy and childcare totally unaffordable? And the answer is because you're paying for the war in Iraq. And nobody thinks about it like that. But that's really what's going on. They can't. So for all the young people who are coming out of college now, and they're like, I'm 150 grand in debt. I have a gender studies major degree or whatever, you know, maybe something better than that, but they got an English degree or something, and they're working at DoorDash, and the average house is going for 600 grand, and they're like, what am I possibly going to do? It's like the reason why these kids are all demanding socialism, at least on the left, is because like, what else are you going to do? Like, how do you even, but the reason why that is the case is because your government decided to spend trillions of dollars on blowing up brown countries, and in some cases then rebuilding them to blow them up again. I mean, this is the actual cost of the thing.